And Magenta and I
Mhm.
have talked a lot about how much we wanted this world frame by frame, panel by panel, to
Yeah.
feel the history of what these
Mm,
these people have been going through.
you did it. You fucking both nailed it. All right, Buzz babies, and welcome back to another episode of Blake's Buzz. I've got some awesome people on the show. One of them's been here before, one of them's been talked about, but has never. That was a weird thing to say. Anyways, it's I've got Adam Rose and Magenta King here to talk about their new book coming from Titan. It's got big, giant kaiju detectives in it. And I'm so stoked. Guys, how are you doing? I'm so stoked to have you on the show. Hello.
Thrilled to be here.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I should also say the name of their book. It's called Huge Detectives #1. It comes out in August. That's
Yeah.
forgot that part in the intro. We'll get to it. It's fine. But no, it's again, I'm totally stoked to have you guys here. Yeah, Adam's been here before, so I don't have to treat him that great. It's
That's
fine.
right.
But Magenta, I am so you're so talented. You have such an endearing style, and you do giant beans so well and
Thank
different.
you so much.
This is so not Jenny Zero. This is very different than Jenny Zero, but
Yeah.
it's also got some of that Jenny Zero weirdness. So what is like? I just to start off, man. Like, what is it in you? Like, what's in your blood? Do you have like kaiju blood? Is it in you? Is it coursing through your veins? Like, why? What has happened? Why can you not get out of the kaiju spectrum? And would you want to if you could?
Man, thank you so much for this because I really like to draw giants and kaijus and stuff like this because I don't know, man. I never watched a lot of this when I was a kid, but when I first got my first manga, I I got really lost and said, man, this is the way, you know. So I started to like a lot when I grew up, and man, I love to draw giants. I said to Adam that the drawing the humanoids giants was really a challenge because man, it's easier to do a lot of monsters and stuff, but being delicate with the hands and the stuff and the actions, man, it was a really challenge. But I love to draw this comic, man. I don't know. I really, if I can, I want to draw giants forever, you know.
Hell yeah, dude. I
It's
I,
really
I
good.
you hate to typecast someone, right? Because you want to see you want to see artists and writers like take risks and spread their wings and explore, but like also like I don't want to see you draw tiny stuff ever. No, like bigger, better, like giant. It's amazing. Adam, how on earth did this connection happen? How did this you get this wild script idea, which we'll dive into the story a little bit more, shortly, but like did Titan kind of team you guys up, or did you guys know each other and meet somewhere? How did the teamwork happen?
So, and Magenta can correct me along the way here, but basically, I too read Jenny Zero, and I'd already written the script for at the minimum for issue 1, maybe the whole thing at that point. I'm not. I was kind of on fire with that, but like you said, we'll talk about that later. But I saw Magenta's name on the art of that, and I was like, I don't know this person, and even the name, to be honest, was intimidating because it's well, first of all, it's his pen name, but I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I thought he had the coolest fucking name ever.
And
Like,
he I then I find out, oh, and this person lives in Brazil. I mean, all these intimidation factors and just being in awe of his art. I cold called him, and I told him what about my respect for him, and I told him about my idea and wanting him to consider at least like taking a look. He took a look. We started zooming, and we just. I mean, again, I'll speak for my end, but Magenta and I have become like just like really, really like partners and very tight friends. Like, I don't know, we both we're on the same creative wavelength, which it's just, I don't know, it feels like a pretty, I feel very fortunate. I mean, I don't want to gush over the guy, but I have to a little bit here because I do, are just the way we have riffed and created what we have, and we both have such a passion like you do. I said, so I guess all three of us, just our love for comics, the medium.
Yeah. Is
It
what makes
just,
this specific book possible. I want everybody to know
Yeah.
my involvement and enthusiasm is really what we're here to celebrate. No, I'm joking. I have this book. All right. We all keep gushing about each other. So what we really need to do right now is just gush about the story. So what I like to do, Adam, is I like to throw you guys to the wolves. Okay. So come with me on a magical journey. SDCC is coming up, right? Let's pretend we're at let's take a magical journey to SDCC. You're going to be there. I'm not. So my part will be magical. This is all magical. So my just being here on Blake's Buzz is magical, guys. All right. So we're at this show where I'm walking around. I got my press badge. I got my backpack full of shit and microphones. My back hurts and I'm bumbling around. I'm all excited and overwhelmed. I stumble across. I got your table and oh, Adam, whoa, you're at the Titan booth. Whoa, what's up, dude? What is this? What is Huge Detective? What is? Tell me about this, Adam. Now throw me your table pitch, baby. Hit me with that.
okay.
Content.
Oh boy. All right. My table pitch is Huge Detective. It's fantasy noir. It's if Chinatown met Roald Dahl's BFG,
Okay.
with a heavy twist of True Detective. So but it's also grounded in the relationship between our two main characters. And I guess in addition to that, as far as like throwing out other references, it's kind of it's an old one, but it's a good one, like Enemy Mine and Alien Nation from the 90s.
Mm.
It's because it's these two very different beings having to work together, which also obviously is more than a perfect like allegory for all sorts of things going on in the present and history of everywhere. The scale and scope of this had to be done in the form of a comic, because it literally erupts out of the panels and off the page.
There is definitely some erupting. There's some shit like it leaves the planet. There's like I don't. This is gonna be hard. I hate spoilers, so I'm gonna be. If I say things that are vague, I apologize, but I want everybody to get the same experience that I got to reading this because this was a great first issue. It was, guys, it was so fucking weird in the best way. In like, oh my god, there's those True Detectives, and guys, the True Detective vibes. I'm talking season 1 True Detective
Oh,
vibes.
that
Okay,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you thought I was gonna throw like there was like the Vince Vaughn one. No, like
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't come. Some Vince Vaughn fan's gonna come at me. I'm just kidding. He's a great actor. No, it's so good. Yeah, the noir is there. There's a great story there. There's a great murder mystery there. There's that whole deal of like a murder, there's a murdered child, right? Which adds that amplifies things, that adds a lot of tension, adds a lot of fear, adds a lot of urgency, right? I think, that was in this scenario, you could have had an adult murder. You could have went a lot of different ways, but I think it's that trope, right? Well, you know what they say? They say like a good creators take a cliche and make it work for them in a new way, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh, you guys have taken a murdered kid and taken it, obviously there's fucking giants. There's like this, there's all this stuff. So there's all these intriguing elements, right? But you kind of mentioned this, Adam. One of the really magical gems is the dialogue, this relationship, this them getting to know each other, these two detectives. One of them is absolutely is totally giant. One of them is a human. And I'm trying to pull up their names in my notes and it's not coming up on my computer right now.
Tamaki,
Tamaki
Detective Tamaki, and Detective Giant, spelled
with a Y.
Gyant.
The cleverly named Detective Giant. I also like how they also have police and like tiered police system similar to ours too. Anyway, it's there's
Mhm.
this world you guys built is wildly intriguing. You could almost, it's a good world when you could say like, I want more. You almost want more world building, right? Like I would take like a
Mhm.
side comic that had no murder mystery and was just like, this is what the Giants did today, or like, let me get this fucking giant Disney World dollhouse thing spinoff, right? I want that mini series too. Oh my god, it's crazy. But anyways, the relationship between these two cops, you can jokingly call this a buddy cop book, right? But and there are elements of that there, and their relationship is already turning into something intriguing, right? So I love it, like just them being together in this totally weird way, and like the size difference in this weird world. Like Adam, what the fuck, dude? The last Magenta, you saw the last thing he wrote, right? Like Corollary, another great book that I love, but this whole like weird like duality system, and he came up like, what was the reason? Like your kids asked if like one of them ate a peanut butter sandwich in one room if the other one could taste it. It was something fucking weird like that. I swear. Like, but so what weird what interaction led to this? Like, what if giants were real and like came out of the earth out of no like? Were you like, why were you like drinking some whiskey and like Attack on Titan came on and you're like, this is cool, but like what? Like,
I mean, I get it seems to happen that this time it was like my daughter that did kind of just ask like a kind of a question about giants and imagining if they were real. I mean, you said it, but that's kind of what happened at bedtime during COVID, where I was like everything felt at peak like pandemic times, like darker and more confined. So I was kind of also just in this zone where all of a sudden, like I just thought of Roald Dahl is like a huge, I mean, someone I grew up with and also read his adult fiction, which is incredibly darker than like BFG, The Twits, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Anyone that's never checked out Roald Dahl's like, I say adult, but just like literary fiction, boy does he get twisted. And I just kind of thought to myself, well, imagine, that was the beginning of it all. And then just as you already brought up, like I've just learned so much about just like I want these characters to know each other, and in order for them to know each other, I have to know myself. I mean, that sounds maybe a little ridiculous, but I guess what I'm saying is I've tried to be a lot more introspective over the years, and I hope that's like kind of coming through in the writing because I want these characters, I want the stakes, even if it's a most unrealistic, bombastic kind of world. I need the stakes to be grounded in their wants, needs, and in what and their challenges. Like both, they're very flawed characters, both of them, and you'll see what Magenta and I bring to you later. Like they have lots of issues
yeah,
that
smell
they
like dirty
struggle with.
medicine. Smelling like dirty medicine. I love that. It's gonna be, if I still drank, I'd be like, sorry guys, I smell like dirty medicine. Like I'd be my new go-to. Maybe when I go to the dispensary, I'll be like, give me your best dirty medicine, sir. Here's my debit card.
No, and you brought up like the Easter eggs of every panel that Magenta creates, and I'll kind of turn it over to him. Like we we talked a lot about the world building and wanting
Mhm. Yeah.
our readers' eyes to just be like soaking up and craving more. Like, wait a minute, I just saw like that poster in the background, or like the use of like from the Omega event 30 plus years ago, like where there's like the bones of Huge are being used in the infrastructure of the United States. So like Magenta
Yeah.
just keeps taking like these ideas that we throw back and forth and making them explode off the page.
I have a huge folder of a lot of reference with bones reassembled with things, Man, I really love this kind of opportunities that you gave me to be crazy with a lot of constructions on the background and stuff. Man, this is I don't know. I think the writing makes me want to draw a lot of expressions that I never draw. So I pay a lot of attention to hands. That is something that I really love to draw. I don't know why, but I love to draw hands. And I try to make it really close to the reader, you know, like uh they will be really close to the giant and really loving what he's doing or hating. But I want them to be really close when they see the art too. So man, yeah, it's been a enormous happiness to draw this pages. You know, it's really good. It's really good.
It's so wild. Like I will say, so there's basically these giants come, right? This is why I mentioned Attack on Titan. There's a couple reasons why I mentioned Attack on Titan.
Mhm.
Anything kaiju, someone's gonna see. You're either gonna mention like Godzilla or Attack on Titan, right? Because that's like the go-to kaiju
Yeah.
experiences right
True.
now. But anyway, like there's the giants show up and a bunch of gnarly stuff happens, and basically they're like, well, we're gonna take Australia.
Yeah.
And like, okay, yeah, and it's just like, of course you would, yeah, that makes sense. Why not? And then and some of the Australians like don't want to leave, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense too, because like even if like giants were like, Blake, leave your house, I'd be like, that kind of sucks, dude. Like now I'm not a revolutionary, right? So I would be like saying that sucks while I'm packing my bags and leaving, right? I'm not a I'm not a strong-willed man like that, right? I'm not too proud to relocate and not get stepped on or eaten. So like these beings on both sides, the humans to them and the giants to us, right, shape existence in so many ways. But
Mhm.
so many people have never seen a giant. So and I think even some giants haven't seen dolls, right? Like I would imagine because I've
Yeah.
that amusement park is probably for like, well, like not everybody probably gets to go to the amusement park, I would guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm kind of going on a Blake's Buzz rant here, and I apologize. I'm in the midst of this kaiju weird world, and I'm loving it. Um, but they make there's this part where they're like, I have one more question because they're getting to like ask this. They've never gotten to talk to a giant before. These other cops, and then the guy's like, all right, yeah, what's up, dude? And he's like, you really don't eat people anymore. And then he's like, yeah, you're good, man. And I'm like, we're just taking everybody's word for that, Anyways, that's a page, right? That huge story I just told is like one fucking page in this book, and it's stems from this world, but it's strong dialogue like that, really strong moments, and these what five? It's a 5-issue mini.
Yeah.
Is
5 issue
Yeah,
mini.
yeah.
it's going to be chock full of these kind of awesome weird moments. And again, now throw that into a blender, right, with some nice fucking marg mix and tequila and ice and a little noir murder mystery, right, and then some of Adam's, just like Adam's quirky scripting, like that's what he does and he's good at it. And then and
Yeah.
Magenta, like you have a, I say this like I don't want to be offensive, but you have a quirky style as well. It's just it's non-normative, right? It sticks out.
Hmm.
It's flashy in some kind of ways. Even when you draw people, like sometimes you sometimes you give them a little extra humanity, sometimes you take a little bit of it away. It's very interesting, and you're
Hmm.
an illustrator, so you get to do fun shit like that, right? And but I love how
Yeah.
you do that in your art. I love how you did that in Jenny Zero. There were moments where you made her seem like a monster, like a drunken, callous, bitch, right? Like
Yeah.
she's like, I'm not your fucking hero, I'm not my fucking dad, like, and I love that. And
Yeah.
but you saw that in her face, in her body language, right? And you could do that with her as a human and as a giant kaiju, and you could also do that with the monsters in a sense, and you could do that with the little kaiju pistol that like you
Yeah.
gave that life and personality. So seeing you do that here in a different way, because these giants, they're not monster, the body horror isn't there, necessarily, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different.
Yeah.
So but just watching seeing him take the tree out of his pocket and light it with a fucking like war napalm device, right? And then smoke it like a cigarette, like that's a regular thing, someone lighting a cigarette, but because of his size and nature and the devices and stylistics, you're a fucking genius, dude. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if anyone's told you this today.
Yes.
You're a genius. This book is
Oh
great.
no.
This book
And
is so good. It's
I
so
got to
good.
add something too that I don't know, because I don't think Magenta's even mentioned it. He's doing all his coloring.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
I'm coloring because I don't know. I really wanted to try my hand on this because I said, man, I have a very specific vision to the colors. So it's been a good length of work because man, it takes so much time. I really prefer to draw because man, I know better how to draw, you know.
Mm,
So, but it's amazing because it's different, and I can I'm drawing, I'm coloring a sequence now that I can say about what it is, but it's really terrifying. So I'm trying to get the colors to the extreme level. So it's been a different approach because when I did Gen Zero, I got some pages like I got a more pop feeling, you know, like
mhm,
it was really manga-ish, I think. And now I bring this kind of reference that I have, but I mix with the part of detective and noir that I really like, but I'm not so familiar with it. So use it to draw that detective comics, you know. But this kind of funny things like this his three cigars and every detail, like his coat, it's made of a huge sheep, the fabric that they used to. And I like this kind of little details that bring the reader to see, man, I want to see more. I want to see, as I said, I want to see how people live, normal people live with the giants, you know. So yeah, this is something that I really like to do. I love to do expressions and uh, posture and this kind of because I always draw a lot of people. My entire life, I keep in drawing people, and doing comics is like, man, you have to direct all the story and get that feeling that I always love it to make the characters really mean what they are saying or doing, you know.
mm.
So yeah, it's a big part of the job when I start to draw these pages.
It's also smart what you're doing too, because and it's because of the size difference. It lends to scenes with like architecture and vehicles that maybe wouldn't be there in like a normal noir narrative, right? Like there's a part where
Hmm.
she's standing on a building like talking to him, and then she's like on a helicopter, and she's like on a lowering pad on the helicopter, and then she like jumps onto him,
Yeah.
which is like they make it look all casual and stuff, but then you're thinking and you're like, you just like jumped out of a heli. You're a cop, you're a detective, and you just jumped out. You're like, okay, like, but and she's high
Exactly.
as fuck on pills, I'm pretty sure too, right? Just jumping out of planes and shit. This is a very intriguing woman. Y'all have, and you guys very much are like this. I don't think this is a spoiler at all because you keep like x-raying on her purse specifically to
Hmm.
like remind us that she's got like a pharmacy on her.
Yeah.
And so that I'm very interested to see because obviously that's gonna lead to you know something that's gonna mess something up, right? That's gonna be that is a wrench to throw in a gear later on. I just
Yeah.
like ready, right?
Yeah.
In a giant gear made for giants, probably, right? Throw a human sized fuck up that'll mess up a giant sized gear. I love it. So there's a lot of weight carried on both sides of the species, which I thought was cool too. You
Mhm.
know, there's like the like gravitas like that each has on both. And then I'm not going to say anything. Why the giant is interested in the crime? It was like I can't really. I'm having a hard time like thinking about it, talking to you guys about it now, just being like, I'm this fuck. This was all in one issue, and it like didn't feel real. It didn't feel real like heavy and crowded or clunky. It didn't feel too busy either. You know, it felt like it was very much like Goldilocks and her porridge. It was just right, baby, and like you know, and it was just it was boom right there. But and but the again, like I have all these questions, you know, because the idea of like food keeps coming to mind, and because you guys spend some time with that too, because basically like at the beginning there they take the giant cop out to lunch, which is truckloads of barbecue, and he's just like taking
Yeah.
trucks, like dumping trucks into his like that's the dream right there. Like hell yeah. You know, but then I loved it. Like she tells him, she's like, you know, are you guys like anybody vegans? Or we can get you beans. And he's like, I want beans. And he doesn't even say anything. He just like that was cool too. He just like looks at her, and I was like, whoa, like that like side eye kind of glare, like shit like that is hard to pull off in comics, guys. And you do that.
Yeah.
Like both of you've done that in the books you've done. With your characters, you're very have very
Mhm.
emotive, fun, and fully realized characters, whether they're flying around out in space or whether it's in this future sci-fi. It's not really a dystopia. Like I don't would you call it a dystopia? I
You
mean,
know,
it's, if you're Australian, I guess it might be a dystopia.
well, I know. I
It
mean,
sucks for everybody but Australia. Or it sucks for yeah, everybody. Yeah, no, it sucks for Australians, but not everybody else. There we go. I've talked into a microphone.
well, you'll yeah. There's trauma enough to go around because there was a war 30 years ago, and it did go
There
past
was the yeah.
Australia.
What
So
is the event? You guys
the
called it
Omega
something.
event.
The mega event, yeah.
So there is that, and you'll see like the echoes, the scars
Yeah.
that the emotional scars and physical in some cases that they all carry and are trying to like either forgive. And this case in some ways is almost like an olive branch or an attempt at one
Mhm.
between these two groups.
You had to come up with a way to motivate these worlds to collide. Did that come later? Like, did the world come first? And you guys were like, how do we, you know, there's these giants, there's these people, and they're coexisting, but it was hard to get there. Like, is that where the murder mystery came from, or was
Well,
that
no,
always
no.
part of it?
I guess yeah. The bones, pardon the pun, of the world started, but the case took over, and then the case kind of helped build more of the world because you'll see very
Mhm.
quickly, and this is where Magenta, like in our talks, like the perspective, the point of view, it's visual, but it's emotional. I mean, there are
Mhm.
moments like with our main suspect where he's trying to make the world small because he thinks he's huge.
Mm,
And
Mhm.
similarly, we have our detective who is literally physically huge, being forced into tiny places that are only tiny for him, but huge for us.
When I first read the script, I said, "Man, I can't imagine how I will do 22 pages of a giant and a human talking without close-ups, you know." So I was really trying to get strange angles and stuff, and I get the focus on the expressions and the movements. So, some scenes, like Adam said, that I don't know, the giant goes in small places. I really like it to get it super clear to the reader. So I want to them to feel like they are with him in that small place. It's a
mm,
small place. So yeah, it's it's the reason that I really redid a lot of things on the on the first issue. I get I was talking with Adam. Oh, I just redraw the entire issue. He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man," because I changed a lot of things and a lot of style and stuff, and Yeah, and this is something that I just wanted to do it right, you know, like, man,
Adam,
it
what do you
needs to
do when
be.
someone when your artist tells you that? Are you like Bribe first absolutely fucking terrified and, like
Man,
There,
Adam
there,
is an angel. Adam is an angel.
there was terror, but there was trust
okay.
because
Yeah.
That's a very good writerly thing to say, Adam. Adam did PR in another life, apparently.
Yeah.
So what was it? Like Magenta, obviously, like you felt so strongly about it that you had to change it to and redraw it. But Adam, like from in a sense an outsider perspective, you're not the artist; it's your book, you too, right? But like when you saw the new stuff, were you like, whoa, like oh my god?
I saw what he was what why he did what he did. I mean, don't get me wrong, what he had before was wonderful, but what he brought in this kind of revamped interpretation definitely is, well, it's what you've seen, and it just added this grit and this layer
Hmm.
of, well, of vulnerability for all of the characters, and the world itself just felt even more lived in. And Magenta and I have
Hmm.
talked a lot about how much we wanted this world, frame by frame, panel by panel, to
Yeah.
feel the history, of what these
Mm.
these people have been going through.
You did it. You fucking both nailed it. Like you really did. Like that's again, like that shocked me. Like I said it before, thinking about it, talking about this issue with you guys is just like, wow, like all this happened in one. That's all I've gotten to read is one issue in a synopsis press sheet, right? It's not like they sent me
Hmm.
the first 2 or 3 issues. I've gotten to read one issue. So like it was there with again like that weight, that gravitas. There's a heaviness, right? There's a sorrow, right? And
Hmm.
that's interesting too. Just like there, yeah, like the trauma, the war, the battle, these things, and again, it's just all of this is like as much as you want the now, because the now in Huge Detective is good, right? It's good, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you're thinking and you're like, wait, do they eat beans though? And like, how many beans do they have to? And then you start thinking about that kind of shit. Like, what if how many of them are in Australia? And you see this one dude eat barbecue and you're like, how much food are they going? Like, what do they eat over there? How does this work? And then, and you start thinking about stuff like that. And then like, basically like they can't for some reason can't make their own alcohol, it seems like, and that's one of the things that they like to get from humans is the system of trade, the whole, oh my god. All right, so I'm getting into Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't got to play yet, guys, but I'm getting into like D&D. So like, I mean, you guys are kind of in a sense like you're dungeon mastering this shit almost. Like there's a minutia here that I don't really we may not, as your audience may not ever get to, but you guys are there and you guys
Hmm.
know
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And that to me is wildly impressive. And I think that is why every panel is so heavy and so full of weight. And so because that knowledge is there, even though
Hmm.
you may not have intimately put it on the page, like word for word verbatim, but like both of you have it in your bones and in your marrow. So it's bleeding
Yeah.
into the script, it's bleeding into the art, and then your audience is picking that up in the gutters and carrying it with them.
Oh man, that means a lot to hear that. I appreciate that. And I will say too, like, there is so much more of this world that Magenta and I have, and the place that Titan was nice enough to let me keep in there, because I didn't know if they'd go for it or not, is at the end of each issue there is a case file, which is just writing with, well, Magenta did some cool like design work and stuff for it, but there is more, like some cases from the past, like from during the Omega event, some things more
Hmm.
recent, and it's going to be, you'll see a case file from Detective Giant. You'll also maybe hear from Tamaki later, but it's those, you're getting even more layers to this world in that little bit of text at the end of each issue. And I'm
Very
hoping,
Yeah.
cool.
Magenta's just been like prolific with, like, even like some, like when he sends like the cover designs, like the options he gives are like 5 to 6 of them, and
Oh, really?
even though they're like thumbnails, I'm like, I want these all in like a gallery. Like I want an art book of these.
I can't
And
imagine. His
it's
covers are
just
so unreal. Magenta, your covers are so unreal,
Thank
dude.
you.
Like, or I got a commission one time of Magic, the X-Men Magic,
Uh-huh.
and the artist, like, he was like, these are the 3 poses I'm thinking. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I don't know what I was like, oh, it's hard. Wow, that's
Yeah.
how long does that
It-
take,
it-
Adam, to choose a final version of a Magenta cover? Like, is
well, it's
that
funny
like,
you mentioned that because the way so I like he gives like 5 like amazing choices, and then like everybody kind of like puts their cards out almost at the same time. Like and then Magenta and I will like kind of DM each other separately first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you just showed me all 5 of these. I love 3A and 3B. That's how he goes into
Yeah.
like letters after the numbers too. It's he's nuts. And I so far I think like every time we've done this, we both have the same ones. And
oh, cool.
Jake at Titan is like, okay, we like these are the ones we like because I wait to hear what they are saying, even though I've already told Magenta what I like. So it's
Hmm.
worked out that so far every time around we've all been on the same page.
Sounds like
Yeah.
what really
Yeah.
needs to happen is you guys need to make sure Titan lets you do a special edition five issue deluxe size hardcover with about 80 pages of back matter with like some of your journals and sketches and all this cool shit. Like hopefully I hope you guys get the sales because this is a cool book. It's a very unique book. When you're pitching it, like how did you get referred to Titan? Did you like were you is that one of the places you were looking at? Like
Oh yeah, no, they just I love what they put out as far well, I guess in their main IP stuff, but I love their books, and I've been kind of trying to reach out to them for a while,
oh cool.
and I mean I just again sort of like with like Magenta and I talking, I think in particular them hearing his name didn't hurt, and they loved the concept, and they loved the sample pages that we had, and they sprung on this with us. And and like lately, we got to give the shout out too. We just got to reveal today the Paul Pope variant for issue 1,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah.
is looking amazing. So and all these other incredible artists, like they kind of like who's your dream list, and Magenta and I, more Magenta than me, but just gave these names of people we would love, and it's just everybody they've brought in for these variants has been like just eye candy that you can't imagine. Like just working perfectly side by side the work that Magenta's doing.
I was kind of shocked that because I was like, who the fuck are these guys getting? Those you got like 8 variants on. No, I'm just kidding. By the way, you deserve it. I just was like, wow, I didn't expect like that variant list, and they're all strong. Like you guys got some awesome covers for the premiere. Like,
You really have to be to, to choose a lot of good artists and really hope that they want to do I don't know their visions with our worlds. And I was really surprised to have the chance to have a lot of variant covers because it's like my dream to have a lot of other artists drawing something that we created because
nice.
it's amazing to see. And every time that Jake sends us the variant covers, I said, man, I want all, I want all them to get to my collection because we talked to Paul Pope, and when he sent us the sketches, we said, man, this is this is the I don't know, it's clean, it's beautiful, and I said, yeah, we have a great A cover, it's amazing, it's amazing. The majority of the covers are interpretations of the two, but some of them are really about specific scenes.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it was a mix of images and the scripts.
You have a damn good book, guys. I'm for real. Like
Thank you.
this kind of shocked me. Like Magenta, I'm not gonna lie. Adam hit me up and I was kind of like dodging the email. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding, Adam. No, I did. Like Corollary was so cool. And Adam's done my show a couple times, and every time I've raved
Hmm.
about it and I loved it, and it was different, and it was it was fun and cerebral, and I love good sci-fi. And this is a little, it's in a weird sci-fi fantasy genre blend you guys are in right now, right? And again, I know I go back to, because Attack on Titan is very fantasy, right? You know, especially they're in
Yeah.
fucking castles and shit too, and they ride horses. You know, they really hammer that home. But you guys are, there's like, you guys are in a weird a weird blend there. So it's a little more modern, a little different. I mentioned Attack on Titan again because Magenta did mention manga, and that like that was some of
Hmm.
your first, like your kind of first foray into kaiju a little bit. Like
Yeah.
Adam, what about you, man? Like, I mean, obviously you're a fan of comics, but like, like manga, animes, or
Oh
any of
yeah.
that?
No. And in fact, I'd say in the last 10 years, because before that, maybe I was strictly American comics, but because I love this medium more than I think any art form as far as especially my as a creator, as an artist myself, but I mean, since I was a little kid, but I expanded and have just gone maybe not as heavy as some people, but I've been like reading a ton of manga and watching plenty of anime. Yes, I mean the most recent manga that just blew my mind, like literally took my breath away with what happened just in the first volume, is Soloist in the Cage. I
Mhm.
don't know if you've heard of that one. I mean, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe what I was reading, and that is actually, I mean, I obviously I just read it recently, but that's an example of kind of what you just brought up. It's a hybrid of a little bit of fantasy, though I'm sure some hardcore Solos in the Cage fans are going to maybe come at me on that, but maybe more in a dystopia, because it's like this prison, this underground city prison where everybody, there's no way out, and there are these giant walls and these like robot sentries that won't let you out, and everybody inside it, you don't really know what their deal is or why they're in there or even how they got in there. But as far as, so that's like the most recent example. But
Hmm.
then yeah, anime wise, I mean, well, I don't know if this doesn't count as anime, but for me, Scavenger's Reign, which is
I gotta
now on
watch that.
Netflix,
Everybody is talking about that. I'm
it's
so behind.
I mean
I
I'm
just watched Lord of the Rings finally, the series. Not I've watched the trilogies, okay? But I just finally watched the Amazon Prime series. Because I
well,
that snuck up on me because I was like, that was one of the things I was like, oh, I'll get around to it. And I watched the first episode and it was cool. And then everybody got kind of nasty about it. I remember, and they were like, and
Yeah.
that didn't make me not watch it, but it made me not pay attention as much to it because there was just a lot of
Mhm.
vitriol circulating around it. Me dropping big words, fuck. Sorry, that's three syllables. I don't know if anybody knows. If anybody's listening to the audio, I just had to count syllables there for a second. Anyway, I'm Catholic, so I always got reconciliation in the back pocket.
there you go.
Tries to say I'm illiterate.
Well, fun
Telling you.
fact, if you want to talk syllables for a split second, I made it all the way to the finals of my small town's spelling bee in fourth grade. It was me and like five other kids left, and I would have gone on to city or whatever. And the word that destroyed me was legislature.
Oh,
Whoa.
But I lost on that. The next person that won it, guess what word they got?
what?
Brick.
Oh
No.
no.
Wow. Hold
I
on.
don't know where I'm going with that. Well, you brought up syllables.
Legislature. So Legis. Hold on. Legislate. Leg. Oh my God. I should not be doing this on a microphone in front of comic book professionals. Legis. Legislature. TUR. Is it TURE?
Got it.
Oh, nice. You're
You got
stupid, Adam.
it. Yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
Magenta's
was.
like, why do people do this guy's show? Jesus. Oh man, that's funny. I don't. It's it's writers are like notorious for like being poor. Well, I kind of everybody is now too because spell check ruined us, right? But like, but writers are essentially like everybody says like we're just always notoriously bad spellers now. Everybody says that.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's certainly getting worse. And
Magenta's like, yeah, I've read your scripts. No, it's like,
And
no, be back
imagine
to
me
you.
that I'm talking in English and I said, man, this is that's even my first language.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
it's true.
That's funny.
Oh, and Magenta and I are hoping. I mean, this isn't an official announcement, but we're hoping to both get to be together like this fall somewhere in the
Yeah.
United States for like some kind of signing. And I guess well down the road. And I was gonna, I would a dream would be to go to some big convention in Brazil and be together with him.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're fingers crossed. Not for San Diego. I'll be there alone. But for something sooner than later this fall, we're hoping to get together.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's so funny because there's a lot of Italian artists are popping up right now too.
Hmm.
And it's kind of irritating because they're all beautiful, and I'm like, why do you get to be that beautiful and talented? It's just not fair. But whatever. But it's but
Exactly.
these sometimes they'll work with people for years, and you guys never meet each other because they
Hmm.
never get that opportunity to I've mentioned like people ask me like, Blake, you going to San Diego? And it's like, I wish. It's not, I live in Kansas City, right? So that's like getting out there is expensive, and then staying out there is
Hmm.
expensive, right?
Yeah.
So it's just not in the budget. Now imagine being on the other side of the planet, or trying to get to the other side of the planet. Or David Hazan's done the show a few times. He lives in Australia, that you guys are trying to sell to the Giants. I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing to my poor boy David down there. But it's he's the same way. He got to go to New York and stuff a couple times, but
Yeah.
that's a big deal for him to plan. And that's like that's like your yearly vacation kind of.
Yeah.
You're not just going
Yeah.
to American cons, living in Australia all the time.
Right.
So yeah, it's tricky, and it sucks, Magenta, that they. I mean, it seems like they make it hard. They make it hard for comic creators in America to
Hmm.
travel and table and get to these things, let alone like the international creators that like
Yeah.
also deserve to come here and be celebrated, like anyways, I don't understand it. I don't think that's necessarily like the con circuit. I think it's probably the government. It's got to be the government.
It's
Let's
got to
talk
be.
about why American government's bad. No, I'm just this is what y'all really wanted to tune
Yeah.
in for.
Oh my God.
It's voting season, baby. Woo! All right. No, I don't give a shit about that. All right.
I don't know. I'm getting really serious in comics for the past 4 years, and since then I'm really working a lot to get only working with comics. So this year is something I really want to do is start to go to another cons in the rest of the world. But this is the difficult part because yeah, it's expensive, and we have to I don't know, make the schedule
Mm.
to be together and stuff. But this is something that I really like to this project about this project, that we are really thinking and talking about meeting a lot of times, because we really want to see this together, like I hope really that we can meet this year, because I have a lot of plans to get a lot of signings and and I don't know, meet a lot of places, and it's really nice because the only places that I really went before was to Japan, because there was
Ooh.
I get really addicted to it's the most expensive uh, trip ever, but it's that kind of trip that you remember every time, so
Did you
I,
get to
I
see the
really,
Gundams? Did you go see the Gundams?
yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's amazing.
I'm
It's
so like
amazing.
I years ago, I was like, I'm going. I'm gonna go to Japan because I love fucking Gundams. Like when I was a
Yeah.
kid, Gundam Wing, like after
Yeah.
school, like I like made a vow to myself, Magenta. I was like, I
Uh-huh.
will go to Japan. I will meet the Gundams. Now they're taking them down. I still haven't been. I failed myself. I put shame on my family. I'll never
But
get to see Giant. Also, this is and I don't really believe this, but I kind of wanted to. I used to really think that they were real. And I thought that like one day, like
Man.
when the aliens come, like the Gundams in Japan would like take off and like save the day. And we'd be like, oh yeah, you know, like, but now they're taking them down. So they must not be
No,
real.
when we got to when we went to Japan in I don't know in last year, you stand in front of them and you said it has to be real, you know, because it's amazing, and I know that they put the Gundams in various places of Japan. So one time that we went there, we were riding the train and we saw the Gundam in the horizon and said, "Man, I want to live in this place," you know. But yeah, the last trip that I went to Japan was the half happiness and half just working. So it
Okay.
was really, and but it's nice. It's
Did you
something
say
that
half
I
happiness? Half
yeah.
happiness, half work. I love how that's like the life dichotomy. As you just said it, you're like you're either happy or you're working. These are the two
Yeah.
modes of human. And that's all you fucking got.
It was strange because I was happy because I was Japan, but I was doing some work and looking to the window and said, "Oh my God, I want to go there, but okay, let's draw, let's
Yeah.
draw." But yeah, I'm happy
Does
because I can work in everywhere, you know. But
That's
yeah.
awesome. Does that unique perspective, like because you got to see those up close and you got to see
Hmm.
something like that? There, I mean, there's buildings that big, but like a building
Yeah,
is not like anthropomorphic necessarily, right? It's not
yeah.
human like. It doesn't have limbs. It doesn't resemble a body. You know, to
Hmm.
stand next to that and see it, like, does that did that kind of help you thinking about those moments when you're drawing this book? Because like I said, the way the humans and the giants like interact and the way that you can
Hmm.
really control the point of view, the size differences and stuff is really smart stuff that you did on the page. And I just like, were you kind of thinking about like your time standing next to the Gundams, like when you were drawing some of that?
Yeah, man. It was like it was unconsciously because I really wasn't remembered then, but yeah, the scale is amazing. So it was something that I really want to bring. I'm doing the thumbnails for issue three,
Three.
yeah.
Mm.
And man, I just have the one page that I really love that I won't say what happened because of spoilers, but I managed to get a frame it's awful to say so good about my work, my own work, but okay.
I'll say it. So so good about his work.
But thank you. But I really like it because it's like it get the scale because are two of them are in the same place, but I managed to get the fantasy look that I always thought about when I think about giants. You know, that
Mm.
was something that I really were I don't know, not nervous, but I don't know, thinking about how I would manage to draw this like a detective and a giant because how they get close, how wear a badge, you know. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
love that he has a badge. Oh, I love that badge. I love that badge. You guys should
mhm.
figure out a way to like, even if they're shitty laminated things with like a clothespin on them,
Yeah.
you sell them for $5. People, if people didn't buy them, shame on you. Like I would love a, a detective giant badge. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god.
Man.
It'd be
Well,
amazing.
yeah, we have like there are without revealing exactly, but as you saw in issue one, there's an example of a huge trading card.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There's the giant cards. That was cool too. There's so much stuff in this world that merch marketing or just like spin-offs and few like one shots and stuff, man. There's so many
yeah.
possibilities. But regardless, like all I can say is I am incredibly excited for these next, like for the 4 more issues. This 5-issue mini is going to be, it's going to be really good, guys. And so like I've told people
Thank you
for a
so much.
while, like Titan is doing big shit. You need to keep an eye on them. I mean, they got Conan, I mentioned Gun Honey, like
Blade
I
Runner.
know, like, yeah, the Blade Runner books are insane, and there's so many, and they keep making them because they're so good. And like, anyways, so
Yeah.
like, so much cool stuff going on at Titan, and now you guys are a part of it, and deservingly so. Like, you guys are righteously on the shelves next to some awesome books. Guys, I catch it for a while, and I, real quick though, because I am the polite host that I am, like, I want to. Do you guys have like mailing lists or websites and stuff? Like, let everybody know, like, where's the best place to keep track of you and follow you and stuff.
Well, Magenta, you go ahead.
Mine is the main one is the Instagram account. Is Magenta King is the handler, and yeah, I think it's the main one because I didn't post, I don't post a lot because I always try to do something new, and then I say, oh no, let's work. Later we get something, but in the Instagram I have the most updates.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, yeah, Instagram. Well, it's not my name. It's an unfortunate name that I came up with years ago. It's Shazam Cap. So
Yeah,
Shazam
your Instagram is.
is
I forgot about
Shazam
that.
CAP. Not my name, and yep, that's what it is. But I am still on that other thing that's called X. Adam Rose.
Whatever the hell it's called these
Yeah,
days.
Adam Rose 74, and I
Yeah,
am actually in the midst of building a website. I'm finally
Ooh,
getting my butt in gear, and I'm hoping to have it ready by San Diego.
hell yeah,
nice.
San Diego's a good time to do stuff like buy boom.
No, yeah, wow, that was big news.
You guys got a couple extra bucks here. Fucking you might buy
Yeah,
Magenta. You want to pony up, buy Dark Horse real quick, get Jenny 03 going real.
yeah, man.
San Diego's in 2 weeks. Now's the time, baby.
An issue in 2 weeks, yeah, it will be easy.
Why, gentlemen? After
Because
spending an hour with me, after putting up with my bullshit for 1 hour, why? Tell us, why do we need to pick this up August 21st?
because this book is for both comic book lovers and people that have never even picked one up, because really it shows you what the visual and the textual can do in a marriage, and it's just
Yeah,
it's action, it's adventure, but as we've said, it's sorrow, it's heartbreak, and it's fantasy and science fiction. So it's just you're getting to have multiple types of soup or ice cream in one sitting.
Or ice cream
exactly.
soup?
Or ice cream soup.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I used to put my ice cream in the. What did my buddy taught this guy, my best friend, he used to be my best friend. This guy Dennis, I used to hang out with all the time. We were kids. He'd be like, you make a bowl of ice cream, you cover it with chocolate syrup, and you put it in the microwave for exactly 12 seconds. And that 12, like it like melts. It gets everything just like soft. Oh, he was on to something. Anyway, ice cream soup, baby.
This is
You know,
amazing.
it's chocolate milk in a bowl, all right, but it's ice cream soup sounds better. Anyway, hey Magenta, why should we buy your book August 21st?
Man,
Magenta's
I
like, because I
really
need ice cream soup, motherfuckers, now. Gallons of it
me
in an
too,
In the
me
empty
too.
vein.
shell.
In the vein. Man, I agree completely with Adam said, and I think that this book is it's surprising because each issue we get bigger and bigger and bigger, and man, it's something like if Adam gets the secret of writing mangas, that is starting with a simple concept and exploding it. So yeah, I think it's something that will surprise you all, and it's different. We are doing something, I believe that's something different. And yeah, And
yeah.
it's nice.
It's nice. It's big. It's different. It's weird. It's intriguing.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy. It comes out August 21st. You need to get on your phones, tell your shops right now that you need Huge Detective #1. I'd go ahead and tell them to put all 5 of them on your pull list. If I was, that's just me. What do I know? I'm just a doctor. Anyways, everybody, like, thank you, everybody, so much. Adam, so great to have you back. You know I love you, dude. Magenta, it was such a pleasure to have you on the show. I am such a big fan of your work. Jenny Zero was so cool. And I still can't believe I have a pull quote on a Dark Horse trade, which is insane. And that's one on volume 2 of Jenny Zero. So that's always going to be a super special book to me for one reason, because of that. But it's amazing. I love your art, and I love that you're getting more into comics, dude. I'm more people need your work in their life in front of them. Like, the world would be a better place with more Magenta King. As I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Folks, gosh, they get hot in here. Oh shit! Sweating these lights, these LED lights that don't put out heat.
Yeah. The lights are too hot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us, because man, it's amazing. I mean, to talk about this, finally being able to talk about this book.
Yes.
And yeah, it's great. It's great. I can't have a better partner on this adventure.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Guys, I love the love. Obviously, you guys are vibing. You're definitely vibing on the page. Guys, you're for real. Get it on your pull list. Follow Adam, follow Magenta, keep track of what they're doing. Love more, hate less, read comics. You know how we do it. I'll be back with more amazing guests, more amazing comics for all of us to spend money on. I'm sorry, someone's got to do it, and it's us. All right, guys, this was so amazing. Like, thank you so much. That was a blast.